feel the love too. Hello there. I'm your hosty with the mosty, all warm, comfy, and cozy in my gym jams, Chester Franklin. And welcome back to Death to Chester podcast. And if this is your first time, welcome in general. Thanks for watching and listening. Why was I singing that song from Lion King? Well, I'm recording this episode on February 14th, aka Valentine's Day. It will be releasing at a later time, but I'm recording it on Valentine's Day. And you may be wondering, by the time you see this, Chester, why did you spend Valentine's Day recording a podcast? Well, I'll tell you. Obviously, you big dummy, I don't have a Valentine. No. I don't have a quote unquote Valentine, but I do have a Valentine. My Valentine this year is X videos. And there's a silver lining for you guys. I hope you're not, if you don't have a Valentine technically today, I hope that you guys weren't moping about it and feeling bad for yourself and sorry for yourself about it. I hope you've seen the silver lining like I did and recognized that, yeah, you could have a Valentine, maybe some, woman that's like a boring lay or that you're not really into much. I mean, you could have that and go spend $200 on a meal with her, a dinner or something. You could have had that. I think anybody could have had that. But the silver lining is you were different. And you went and lit some incense in your room, maybe a candle or two, okay? Put on some smooth jazz, all right? And maybe if you're a lotion guy, I'm a dry guy myself, but if you're a lotion guy, you put you got a pot full of boiling water, or like, a pot full of water and kind of boiled it a little bit and put your bottle of lotion in there and got it up to room temp, like a baby bottle with formula, but it's your lotion that you're going to use to do some crazy things in that bedroom to that slow jazz with the whiff of incense in the air. You are going to find videos and at least pretend that you're doing these things that you wouldn't be able to do with that Valentine over there. She wouldn't be down for that. She doesn't do anal. You could find midgets and all sorts of stuff, and you could have the Valentine's Day that you deserve. Don't forget that. If you don't know how to love yourself, nobody else is going to love you. And who can do better at loving themselves than you? You know what turns you on. You know all the little buttons to press. I believe in you. Pick your chin up. Shoulders out. Chest out. It's not that bad. But we are in trouble. We are definitely in trouble, fellas. Many of us, women already took our houses, took our money, took our children, and now they took away Valentine's Day. Which again isn't so bad. Again, you're gonna spend the $200 on dinner. Well, you got that saved now. That's still in the pocket. Go get you, well, for $200, I imagine, I don't know what the economy's like nowadays, but you could probably get yourself a prostitute for that. And just cut straight to the chase and get on with your day. But we really are in trouble. Women have taken back Valentine's Day. So there's this thing that I heard about. I don't know if you've ever been shopping for a car and you start seeing the car that you were looking at, you start seeing it everywhere on the freeway, driving in town. It starts standing out to you. I don't know what that phenomenon's called, but you know, um, it happens with things like that. You see it, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it everywhere. Well, I was told recently about this Galentine's Day thing. It's Valentine's Day, but just for the gals. And I was like, oh, okay, but I didn't know it was like a whole thing until today. I'm looking on Facebook and stuff like that, and I don't follow that many people on Facebook. And so, like, the algorithm just like throws stuff out to me. And I've seen multiple things. I guess this is a real thing. Galentine's Day. It's like a big deal where women get together. I assume they're single women that are getting together because there's no men around. And these women are spending Valentine's Day not with men, but together in their groups. Single women are everywhere and they want nothing to do with us, guys. They do not want a man. All they need is them. And they're taking these pictures, and I don't know who these pictures are really supposed to be for, because I don't really know, like why am I supposed to give a fuck, right? Like I don't know who these are for. Maybe to make men mad, because some men will probably be frustrated by that. I mean, I'm at peace on my Valentine's Day. I can't really ask for more than that, really. But there's those things called incels, like involuntarily celibate or whatever. Like they don't have a choice in it. They're probably plotting on a way to kill women today, because Galentine's Day is on the rise. And man, I don't know what we did. I don't know what the I don't know why I had to get to this point. But yeah, women have taken Valentine's Day back, and we are no longer a part of it. Hey, maybe we can start a Palentine's Day for men, the pals. Instead of matching jammies like what the women do, they post these pictures. They all got matching jammies on, and like mimosas and shit. But maybe we can do like matching fisherman hats, or matching hunting gear, or like what else is manly? I was gonna say like construction helmets, but that's a little close to the Village People, the YMCA, a little too gay. Valentine's Day would be gay. That would be really gay. So never mind. Scratch that idea. Just if you're by yourself and depressed, just be by yourself and depressed. Don't take it out on nobody, and don't call me. I don't want to hear another man's voice on Valentine's Day. I'm alone as it is. You be alone over there. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So yeah, I could have had a Valentine's Day though. We really fucked that up. Could have had a Valentine though today. From a surprising place. Now in my lifetime, I have had the, how would I say it? Not not the luxury or good fortune. There's no non-gay way to say this, but I've been somebody, let's just put it this way. I've been somebody that attracts both sex for whatever reason. I don't think I give off a gay vibe. I think I'm a very masculine, debonair, grizzly man. But there's guys out there. Today, it happened to me. A guy shot his shot. Came from a very unexpected place. This is this guy that I kind of have a rapport with. I was at work, and he works in the cafeteria. And I went and got some food, and he was just asking me how my Valentine's Day went. You know, I came later in the day, and I have some rapport with him. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, my Valentine's Day, I didn't do anything. He's like, oh, you didn't like cook up breakfast for the missus and this and that. I'm like, no. Um, I said no. I said, those days are behind me. Um, I didn't do anything, And he's like, oh, so I'm your Valentine. And he looks like a kind of masculine guy too. And so I didn't really think too much of it. I was like, nah, just kind of laughed with him. He's like, I'm just kidding. And so I'm at the cafeteria and he's getting my food. He's one of the cooks or whatever, and he's giving me what I'm picking out, and he's like you should try Niggas. I kind of looked at him. I'm like, nah, dude. I was like, because I'm not homophobic, but growing up, when you're in the hood and stuff, if he would have tried some of that stuff, I would have to hit him. Not because I want to, but just because that's like the rules, or it used to be the rules. So um, instead of getting mad, but a part of me kind of flashed like, what the fuck? Who are you talking to like that? But he was just joking the first time about me being his Valentine. I was like, maybe this is just like a continuous like little joke. I'm like, nah, dude, it's not for me. Anyway, have a good one or whatever. And then he goes, doo-doo-ch. I'm like, dude, it's too late for the doo-doo-ch. I already took you serious now. You already said the first time that I'm your Valentine, and then just said right away that, that you're just kidding. I brushed it off. The second time, you said I should try out Niggas. Then we just looked at each other with an awkward silence. And then when I'm walking away because I'm uncomfortable, you go, doo-doo-ch. Bro, you weren't doo-doo-chewing. You weren't kidding. You weren't joking. And it's okay because I know I'm an attractive man. But don't try to say that you were joking. And also, dude, I'm not gay. No. I will be going home and watching X videos of women. I don't want to try Niggas. Okay? I like women. Preferably black women. I don't even, care for much else, if I'm being honest. It's just a personal preference. But I'm not going to men, and I'm not trying Niggas. But if I wanted to, I could have, and I could have had a Valentine, you guys. Could have had a Valentine. If he would have invited me over to play Mario Kart or something, he would have had my ass. But yeah, guys, we're in serious trouble with this Valentine's Day stuff. We have lost our women in this society of the United States. But I thought of a solution of how we could get them back. Because every man's stomach, the way to a man's heart, they say, is through his stomach. Well, I would say it's first through his dick and then the stomach because they're connected. And so after the vajayjay, the punani, if that's all the women can offer us, then that's how we're getting in the situation we're getting into now, where they would rather be with girlfriends. That can't be the single thing that holds men and women together. So what I'd like to see in society done is that microwaves become outlawed. It becomes illegal to own or possess a microwave, so that we can kind of get some balance back in society, and it'll force women to learn how to cook again. It'll teach everyone essentially how to cook again, but most importantly, it'll teach women how to cook again, so that we will have the drive to pursue them, and they'll cook us a nice meal. If you bust a nut, it only lasts a couple minutes, and then you bust, and then sometimes your feelings just go woo, go down. But if you have a woman that consistently knows how to cook and cooks good meals, you add that on top, and that's more of a lasting impression, more of a lasting feeling, and a more lasting bond. So I'd like to see in society that that more women learn how to cook, and then maybe that's just a step in the right direction to put an end to this Valentine's Day nonsense. And I don't know. Does anybody else have any ideas? Leave it in the comments. Another thing I would like to see change about society, I was thinking about this, you guys. I work a graveyard shift at one of my jobs, and I listen to a lot of talk radio, and so I listen to a lot of the issues kind of going on in society, and the homeless problem is something that gets brought up a lot. And I work a graveyard shift, so I would say around like especially 3, 4 in the morning, that's when my mind really starts to work, to think of ideas, I'm just pondering things. I'm almost daydreaming. I'm in a daydreaming state from around 3, 4 in the morning ish. And I started contemplating homelessness and how I would like to see that changed. Homeless people, I know you're seeing this. You have cell phones now. You can watch YouTube now. There's one homeless person in my town right now that has foldable like solar panels that they bring out so that they can watch TV in their tents. You guys have cell phones now, so I know that you can hear me speaking to you. Go to jail. Please go to jail. There's organizations right now in California that are spending, I believe, billions, but if not, many, many hundreds of millions of dollars on homelessness, and the issue is not being solved that way. There's some housing being built for homeless and this and that, but it's all coming out of, taxpayer money, and that fund is additional taxes. They're raising taxes to house the homeless people. We can cut taxes away by not trying to do that anymore and just sending homeless people to jail where prisoners already live off of a certain amount of our tax money. So instead of having another tier of taxes added on so we can take care of the homelessness separately, we should house the homeless with other prisoners. Homeless people should go to jail. And listen to me, homeless people. This is why you need to go to jail. You'll have a shower. You'll have clean clothes. You'll have, I believe, 3 meals a day, maybe 2, with the option of getting commissary. However, you need to get that money to get the commissary. There's jobs. In California, all our prisoners make our license plates. You could become a productive member of society. You can learn a trade. But you'll survive. You'll kind of thrive in jail. And the only thing that made me hesitant to propose that, especially over the internet, is because, in the Jim Crow era, after slaves were freed, after the Civil War, there were these Jim Crow laws that were passed, and a lot of them were, against like vagrancy. So if you didn't have anywhere to go, you're just on the street, you would end up being put in jail. And a lot of the people that would be being put in jail were freed slaves. So once they're free, they have nowhere to go. So of course they're going to be, vagrant, just kind of hanging around. And so it was like a racist law. It was racist, these vagrant laws, because it disproportionately affected black people. So I'm glad that those laws were done away with, but now I see such a diverse group of homeless people, diverse in ages, race, and all that kind of stuff. I haven't seen a Muslim outside of his tent doing a prayer, with his forehead on the concrete. I seen that. But homelessness has been so democratized now that I don't think vagrancy laws would be racist anymore. I don't think it would disproportionately affect white people or black people or Asian people. Okay, so that's why I'm proposing maybe even passing laws to make homelessness illegal and sending homeless people to jail. I further propose that ICE should stop chasing Mexican people, should stop hunting them down, and start hunting down homeless people. Let's keep the Mexicans, even if they're illegal, let's keep them here because they do work so hard, and they do contribute to our society. And they don't want to go back to Mexico. So there's open space down there. So if homeless people don't want to go to jail, there should be an option for when ICE captures them, if they want to go to jail or if they want to go to Mexico. Instead of just trying to like shut the border and block the Mexicans out, let's have like a trade program. Because in the end, that's a pro-US policy to do that. We would thrive as a country if we took all of Mexico's hard workers, and then traded them for homeless people. So, like let them go live among the cactuses in the desert and stuff, we don't need them. They're not contributing positively to our society. They're contributing disturbance. I was at the store the other day. I stopped at the liquor store. There's a liquor store in Oakland, California that I stopped at and to get an energy drink before I started work. And there was a homeless woman leaning against the wall, okay, taking a piss. And there's just a puddle under her forming. She's just peeing down her dress. And that's something I could have went without seeing, That wasn't really something how I wanted to start my night, you know what I mean? And I feel like, she's over here pissing on a business and on their sidewalk. And meanwhile, ICE is deporting people of great value to our society. And we're left with, with a tweaker lady peeing on a business. She doesn't respect American business. And so she should go to Mexico. Just an idea. Another thing that I think should be banned, I mentioned microwaves. Another thing in society though that I would like to see banned, speaking of like Galentine's Day, I seen that on Facebook. I would like to see social media banned. Social media, I feel, has had a negative impact on our society. And I'm well aware that I do all of my advertising for this podcast on Instagram and Facebook. That would be interesting for me to record and see if I could still get any listeners or viewers on my podcast. I believe that I could. I believe there's ways other than social media that you can happen to go viral. Might take longer, but I remember growing up and seeing posters stapled on the telephone poles, and posters taped up on payphones and stuff like that. I mean, everyone's making T-shirts. You could promote yourself, push your CD out of your trunk like you're J. Cole, and people like me can still get out there. The diffusion will be a little slower, but I believe it would still be possible. So I did consider, hey, well, Chester, you're on social media as well, but you want to see social media banned. It needs to happen because I'll just put it this way. I'm tired. There's a few people that I know personally that every day they feel the need to post a selfie. Or today I was exposed to multiple, Galentine's Day photos. I am a 35-year-old man. I shouldn't know that Cardi B broke up with Stephon Diggs after he lost the Super Bowl. I shouldn't be knowing things like this. I shouldn't know about Valentine's Day. I shouldn't have to look at it. Um, I shouldn't have to, even though they're my friends, I shouldn't be forced to look at them every day. It used to be back in the day, if somebody wanted a picture of you, you would hang out with them in person, um, and you would only hang out with them if you really wanted to. And then if you guys are having a good time, something memorable or something you want to remember this moment with this person, you took a picture of them. And pictures meant something. We gotta ban social media. We have people out there, and I'm not mentioning any names, but you'll if you're guilty of it, this is gonna hit home right away. Stop forcing me to look at you. We have people that think that it's imperative that they post selfies every day. You're not cute. If somebody wanted to see you, they would take a picture of you. Stop raping my eyes because you think you're cool in your Jordan 4s. Everyone has Jordan 4s. You're not unique. You don't look cool. Okay? It's not getting you any more bitches. You keep showing yourself to me. I don't want to see you, dude. You know? And I just feel like selfies, it's just really annoying to me. They just really get on my nerves. And I just miss the old days where you had to have a photo album, a physical photo album, if you wanted to see people or remember somebody. Now you can't forget about somebody because they are always in your face. I also think Facebook should be, or social media in general, should come to an end because it's very unhealthy for relationships, and most of the relationships on social media are fake. I have a great aunt that we kind of had a back and forth conversation. She commented on one of my photos and invited me, hey, you should, come out here and, come visit. And I had moved about an hour away from where she is. 5 or 6 years ago, I moved out to the Central Valley in California. So she's about an hour away towards the coast. And we're having this exchange, and um, she she pretty much invited me over, and then so I was like, "Oh, are you still living in this city, the so and so city, out out by the coast?" And I didn't get a response. And throughout the weeks, throughout more recent posts that I put out, um, she's commented on other things, but never continued that conversation. So it's like, so was the invite fake? I mean, what happened? Did you see my podcast and decide you don't want somebody like me at your house? I wouldn't be surprised. And it's okay. I'm not for everybody, but you were quick to invite me, and then when I try to confirm where you live, it's crickets. So, um, you know, I don't like the fact that people like that yeah, they're related to you, maybe even by blood or whatnot. They're completely satisfied with watching your life, watching your kids grow up, and all that stuff from a distance, from online. There's no like real genuine, very few real genuine relationships where people want to put the effort into getting together, and I think that's a sad thing about social media. Another thing that's on my algorithm that I watch a lot of is fighting videos, street fights. And along with social media, what we should ban in this country, and this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but we need to ban guns. I'm very pro gun. I've had them. I have them. But what is happening with this generation, I'm watching these videos of street fights, and they're swinging like this, like they're right face to face. They got a perfect opportunity to knock this dude out that's in front of them, and then they're like hitting him like with their wrists and stuff. And this generation doesn't know how to fight. They definitely know how to shoot. They definitely know how to shoot. Maybe not accurately, but they do pull the trigger. But these kids do not know how to fight, and maybe that would result in less deaths if people, actually knew how to throw hands. It also establishes, growing up in my neighborhood, we always had to fight. I mean, if you wanted to be outside, if you just wanted to hang outside, then you're going to have to fight. Otherwise, those boys are going to run you in the house. You're going to be a porch puppy. So you got to be able to throw them. And I appreciated that about my upbringing because I could fight. It allows people to know who's the predator, who's the prey, or who's like, a little tougher than you or whatever. You might not like them. You might hate them. But if you can't knock them out, you can't beat them up, you can't get one up on them, then, it just is what it is. And just, I don't know, stay clear of them, I guess. Do your best. But nowadays, I mean, nowadays it's just completely different. And they're going straight to guns. And just when they do fight, I mean, it's embarrassing. I see why they get so mad that they go and get a gun. Because, if you hit me with 5 wrists, I'm going to get irritated. You're bugging me. Pow. And, just sit them on the sidewalk until the ambulance comes. If you get shot in the stomach, you're not supposed to run. It'll like make a bigger wound. So, you just shoot them in the stomach one time, just have them sit down on the sidewalk, wait for an ambulance to come because you're annoying me, you know? And for that reason, I think guns have spoiled this generation. They have really impressive stuff. I've seen some really impressive stuff online, but they can't fight for anything. It used to be, like I came up in an old enough generation where you solve things with fist fights. And then at 15 or so, I got my first gun, obviously an illegal gun. It had duct tape handle. It was a 32, and then they put like the wrong bullets in there. It was like 32 long bullets, and I needed like the short ones. So we had to go and trade this old lady in the projects. We had to trade her Vicodin for 32 bullets. She had some bullets that she would sell us, so we traded. And then we went to the beach and fired off at a chair that was ripped out of like the back of a van or a car or something. It was like a car seat, not for babies, but And so, and then at 15, I was rocking and rolling with that. But for the most part, I didn't even have to carry that on me, because we still settled our disputes with fights. It was just kind of like a cool thing to have. And when you're hanging out with your friends at the house, you're like doing Western moves with it and stuff like that. But at a certain age, when I became like 17, 16, 17, 18, I mean, people started having guns. So only then I did start carrying it around with me. But these kids now, right out the gate, I mean, they don't come outside without it. And in some places, I don't blame them. But for the most part, I've never really had too much of an issue using my hands. And I just wish this generation were kind of the same, because it's really sad what we're seeing in society now with all that stuff. So yeah, that's been my Valentine's Day. Um, those were just a few thoughts on my head, about Valentine's Day, about Galentine's Day, um, homelessness, what we can do about it. That's about it. I guess this is going to be a pretty short podcast. I thought maybe I would have a few more jokes to throw in there, but whatever. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Nice little short one for you. Maybe I'll release this one a little early, make it like a bonus episode or something. But I appreciate you all for coming by and listening to another episode of the Death to Chester podcast. I am your host, Chester Franklin. It's been a pleasure having you listen to me rant about nonsense this Valentine's Day. I love you all. Until next time, bye-bye.